In this section, we're going to discuss calculating monthly mortgage payments. Now, on the SAFE exam, you're not allowed to take a financial calculator into the exam with you. Therefore, you will not be required to perform any calculations that require a financial calculator. You will be given a four-function simple calculator. That's just a calculator that does plus, minus, divide, and multiply. You'll be given one of those at the testing center, so all of the problems on the exam may be completed with that calculator. So in this example, calculating principal and interest payment would not be required on the SAFE exam. What we are going to do with this example is we're going to calculate the principal balance that's remaining on this loan after the first payment. To do that, our first step is going to be to calculate the annual interest. To do that, we just take the loan amount of $300,000, multiply that by 5%, and on your calculator that's 0.05. That's going to give us an annual interest payment of $15,000. What we do with that is we divide that by 12, and that's going to give us a monthly interest payment of $1,250. So for the first month, there was $1,250 in interest due on this loan. Principal balance was $300,000. The interest was 5%, so the interest due for the first month was $1,250. Now you'll notice that the principal and interest paid every month on this loan is $1,610.46. So for the first month, if we want to calculate the amount that went to principal, all we need to do is subtract the amount that went to interest from the principal and interest payment. So we're going to take that payment of $1,610.46, subtract from that the $1,250 that we now know went to interest for that month. The difference between those two numbers is $360.46. So that right there is the amount of principal that went to the loan for the payment for the first month. If we want to find the principal balance at the end of that payment, all we do is take the loan amount at the beginning before that payment, which in this case is the beginning loan amount of $300,000, subtract from that the $360.46, and that leaves us with a principal balance of $299,639.54. Okay. That right there is our principal balance at the end of the first month. Now we're going to get a bit more complicated. We're going to calculate the balance at the end of the second month. So I've carried over the balance at the end of the first month here of $299,639.54. We're going to go through the exact same steps. Remember, the interest rate is 5%, so we're going to take that number, multiply it by 5%, and that's going to give us an annual interest payment of $14,981.97. So this is our annual interest payment, just like we did before. To get a monthly interest payment, we're going to divide that by 12. That's going to give us a monthly interest payment of $1,248. And the actual answer is 0.498, so we're going to round that up to 50. So that right there is our monthly interest that's due for the second month. It's less because the principal balance was less for that month. So now what we do, remember, our principal and interest payment's the same. It doesn't change from month to month. Our principal and interest payment from before was $1,610.46. So the interest due this month is $1,248.50. So the difference between those two numbers is $361.96, which represents the amount of principal that went to the principal balance for the second month. So now if we want to calculate the ending balance at the end of the second month, we take our principal balance at the end of the second month, which was we have up here, which is $299,639.54. Subtract from that the amount of principal that went this month, $361.96. So once you subtract that, that gives you an ending principal balance of $299,277.58. Now you can keep going from month to month if you'd like. Obviously it's much easier with a financial calculator, but if you have to, for a few months, you can calculate the amortization, or in other words, the amount that the principal balance goes down through each principal and interest payment.